We're now live streaming and it's 7 o'clock. Ready?
Right. Hello, good evening and welcome to Weymouth Town Council Planning and Licensing meeting here today on Tuesday, the 27th of May. I'd like to welcome any members of the public that are listening in, but our first item on the agenda is the election of the chair. Members are asked to confirm the election of the chairman of the Planning and Licensing Committee agreed at full council on the 14th of May. Proposed by Councillor Clifford, seconded by Councillor Arell. All those in favour?
Okay, so that's confirmed that Councillor Peter Dickinson has been elected chair of the Planning and Licensing Advisory Committee.
We now come to item 2, which is the election of a vice chair. Members are asked to elect a vice chair for Planning and Licensing Advisory Committee. I know that Stephen has said that he would like, sorry, Councillor Dickens has said he would like to do it. So I'd like to propose him, unless there is. No, that's seconded by Councillor Clifford. All those in favour? And that is unanimous. So welcome, Vice Chair. We come now to item 3, which is apologies, and we only have apologies from Councillor Young.
We do.
Yeah. So if I'll propose, seconded by Councillor Taylor, that we accept those apologies. Yeah, and that is unanimous.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We come to item 4, which is the usual one for any declarations of interest. I don't think there's been any pre-notified, but should you, if we're discussing a planning application, think that, yeah, Councillor Clifford?
There is one in Sun Points,
Yeah.
that I can see from my home has no impact at all, but it is there and I can see it. I have no idea whether that's an interest or not.
No,
But for
thank you for
safety,
that.
I'm quite happy to not vote on that.
Right, so we now come to item 5, the minutes of the last meeting. To approve the minutes of the last meeting held on the 29th of April as a true and accurate record. I'll propose, Councillor Dickens will second. All those in favour? And that's unanimous. Thank you. We come now to item 6, public participation. I've not been notified of anything.
No, nothing at all.
No, so there's nothing on public participation. So we can now go to item 7, planning application for discussion. And Councillor Arell wishes to discuss the Waterside Holiday Park, Bowleys Coveway.
Yep, thank you, Chair. Again, as usual, not to object necessarily, but just because it's a big development, we ought to at least think about it.
Yeah.
It seems to me it's one of the kind of trends over recent years is these holiday parks, and they do give people a choice coming to Weymouth. So some like traditional hotels, but this is a kind of option of work for families. So I think I'd probably support it on that grounds of being good for the economy. Thought it was a little weak on the biodiversity net gain. I don't know if you tried to read the report, it was almost unintelligible, some of the reports in there. Percentage increases in hedgerow, it's really hard to understand quite what it meant.
Yeah.
But I think the bottom line was it's not very diverse at the moment.
No.
So putting some caravans on and improving the hedgerow will result in a marginal gain.
Yeah.
So on that basis, I'd back it.
Yeah. So would you like to propose that Weymouth Town Council fully support this application?
Yes, we need to give something positive rather than just no objection. I think it needs to be.
So do we want to do on the grounds?
Of economic development.
Can I just add a slight note of caution aside from fully support?
Yeah.
Because I'd like us as a council to take into consideration the objections that we've had from the various neighbours, many of whom saying along the lines of they got a pretty poor track record of looking after environmental areas, and we should be minded about that. And here we've got something with allegedly a net gain. It might be now, but will it be in 5 years' time? The track record suggests maybe not. So I will support a no objection. I would probably even support we're behind it because it helps expansion. But I do have a note of caution about the track record needs to be improved.
Yeah, the weakness, I agree, was the environmental one.
Yes.
It's not a great.
Exactly.
Let's set aside, so we could have a conditional backing,
Yeah.
support it on the condition that they fully implement all the changes they've said.
Good condition.
Just, is this the one where they're already doing, using it as it is? So they're only sort of legalising their using it, isn't it? I mean,
It's improving what they've already got.
well, yeah,
It's a change of use.
yeah, allegedly, yes, use that term loosely.
It's a change of use, isn't it?
Yeah, agricultural fertilization.
So if
Okay,
you could just read back,
all right, I'm still writing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to say that the council will put a conditional response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying that the council does support on the grounds of economic development
Economic benefit.
and economic benefits, right? Benefits. On the basis that they,
fully implement
fully implement.
the,
Environmental enhancements, promised.
Can we also add that we note the local concerns?
Yeah.
It'd be nice for people to actually see that we have listened.
Maybe that they take note of the local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We note local concerns.
Yeah.
Concerns. And ask that the applicant also. Yeah, he also does so. Okay, so conditional response that Weymouth Town Council will support the development on the grounds of economic enhancement, no, economic benefits. As long as the applicant fully implements the environmental enhancements promised. We note the local concerns and ask that the applicant also does so.
so you're proposed, seconded by councillor Dickens. All those in favour? Okay, that's unanimous.
So who was the proposer? Is still writing.
Councillor
Councillor.
seconded by
Oh,
councillor.
Councillor Dickens, yeah, lovely, thank you.
We then move on to applications that were received prior to the agenda dispatch. And this is Buxton Road, Bath Street, and 31 Lanehouse Rocks Road. Would any member like to talk about any of those four? Or shall we vote to move them on block into item 8? Well, our proposal, we move them on to item 8, seconded by councillor Day. All those in favour? That's unanimous again.
Thank you.
We now move on to item 8. Has anybody like to, any of these for discussion, item 8? Any of them? Not many, was it? No, not really.
Not a huge amount of monies we have had.
So we move to vote on block that we have send our usual response. Yeah, well, I'll propose.
Just before we.
Yeah.
do, so Preston Road.
Yeah.
I would bow to your greater knowledge in this to me. I look at it and I see the objections and I look at, and I know it's varying, existing. I think it looks horrible.
Yeah.
I understand the neighbour's reservation next door
Yeah.
and this seems to put some of it right, but I would, if you're completely happy with it, then I'm happy to go along.
Because they're already built.
Yeah, it's trying to put some things
Yeah.
they said they do back in there.
Yeah.
This is now the second one where someone's already done it.
Yeah.
And I do wonder whether we have any more power than just saying, yeah, it all goes through on
If the
the.
planning officer
Yeah.
says yes, then who's going to fight it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, this isn't one for standing up,
No.
but I do think
as
that,
they're already built,
yeah,
they're there,
Yeah.
and it's just an amendment to the,
Yeah.
you know. So are we happy to vote on block? Yeah, Well, I'll propose, councillor Dickinson seconded, that we send our standard response to all these items. All those in favour? And that's unanimous. We now move on to item 9, which is tree preservation, which we have none. Item 10, which is trees. Anybody like to raise any concerns about the trees?
These have already been responded
They
to,
do, yeah.
their information,
Items.
yeah.
Right. If nobody's got any major concerns about item 10, we can now move on to item 11, which is an appeal at 22 Devon Road. Could you bring that? Yeah, you've got it.
Okay, so
Would anybody like to talk on this appeal on Devon Road?
we sent, the town council sent their standard response of the council supports this application, raises no objection. That was on the 8th of October. And the decision notice that refused the application. Proposed development by reason of its prominent position and scale would not reflect the local character, would be at odds with the prevailing development pattern within the area. And as such would appear unduly incongruous within the street scene.
Chair.
Sorry.
So there are two things on this one. One of which is the Dorset Council's planning officer's comment, which was, we didn't raise any planning issue. I mean, if our standard response doesn't have any planning issues, then maybe we need to change our standard response, because my feeling for this was we had no objection, and that's fine. That's not a planning call, according to the planning officer. It's, we got no objection because it fits in with the locality or something, maybe is. I just wonder, I thought it was quite sarcastic. Yeah, I took it slightly personally when the planning officer came back and said that. And the other thing about this is, it doesn't fit in, but yes, it does fit in with that area. It's lots of houses have had extensions. I couldn't quite work out what the issue was here.
We had a big discussion about 12 months ago, about 15 months ago, where because we hadn't supported the application,
Yeah.
we couldn't then ask it to go to committee.
Yeah.
If we just put no objection, we can't then ask for it to go to committee. If we put we support,
Yeah.
we can ask. And it was a sarky comment, wasn't it? And it's something Councillor Northern brought up at the time, so that we can. So that's why we chose these words.
Mm.
But I know your feelings well, Councillor Gilbert.
We could, sorry, but
Yeah.
I mean, we could back up your sentiment with a, say, we don't feel it's overmassing and.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
okay,
we can always
it's
put
a
a
very
comment.
small.
But bear in mind, we're commenting on the appeal, we're
yeah.
not sending a comment back to the planning officer who's got the plan with what they
It would go to the appeal.
wanted to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, frankly, if people building largish extensions of second homes were stopped in Weymouth, then it might not be a bad thing, but after developments around it wouldn't be going ahead.
And a lot of builders out of work, I suspect.
And there's something to be said for concentrating development in a defined area.
Yeah.
In transport rather than doing it on green fields. So there's some,
Yeah.
there are arguments for doing so. So we should,
I'm just going back to my,
and this is
See what
real
recommendation.
important.
members are asked to consider the above appeal and agree any representation to be submitted to the planning inspectorate regarding the appeal. So, I guess we've got to look at the. I mean, if you felt really strongly, you could put in a comment to the planning inspectorate saying that you don't believe that it's going to have a massive effect. It's completely up to you. This is one of the ones where you can submit a representation.
Might be an idea to do that, to see a little bit of testing the waters here.
Well, yeah, it doesn't hurt, it's only a comment, isn't it?
I mean, in the end of the day, they will either say yes or no.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And whatever we say won't make much of a difference, but at least it will show that we are thinking about things rather than
Yeah.
So, what would you like to say?
I'm happy, something along the lines of, so who's written the points 1, 2 and 3 there? Is that?
That's been taken from the Dorset Council
Yeah.
decision notice.
So I'm going
That
to
was
say,
their reasoning for
we
refusing.
disagree with comments within the Dorset Council's planning report in terms of the prominence of the building and the size. Not to disagree with them on backs, I think is a completely
In terms of
hooey, but yeah,
performance
honestly, the existing house might have backs.
of building and size.
Them in your roof.
So we disagree with comments in the Dorset Council report, planning report. Should I put planning decision notice?
About the local character, picking out the phrase they're using, the local character, reflecting the local character.
Now, in terms of reflecting the local character.
And having an unacceptable impact.
Okay. Yeah, and I can support that straight, I can submit that straight to the planning inspector.
Yeah,
So, are we all happy with that comment to go in? So it's proposed by councillor Clifford,
I'll second.
seconded by councillor Dickens. All those in favour? We'll see what comes by.
Lovely, thank you.
We can now move on to item 12, there is none, item 13, there is none, item 14, there is none. Item 15 is the alterations to Abbotsbury Road, and if we've all looked at appendices A and B, it just shows you where it's going in, and I think we supported that last time.
Yeah, it's just an information, I just let you know it's been made.
Yeah, we have, and now item 16, which is further information items. South Down Road, Lawton Gardens. St Mary Street. Flat A and B, 28 Avenue Road, St Leonard's Road, Kitchener Road, Littlemore Road. Is there anybody wish to make any comments on those? No. Do we have a neighbourhood planning update, John?
No, they're still waiting for the
Yeah.
termination.
So, in that case, we have no emergency items. Oh, we can successfully close the meeting.
Bear with me a moment.